Good morning. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox. I'm the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. I welcome you to our New Year's Day service. It's January 1 in the year 2023. What a wild ride the last couple of years have been, right? But as we have the clock turn into this new year, we come together today to remember who we are as divine beings, to honor that stamp of individuality that Spirit has placed upon each one of us, and to use this power that we're each imbued with to chart a course over the next year to co-create the life that we desire. In the philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, we're taught that we're all one, interconnected in life itself, that there's one mind that we're all a part of, and that we get to use this mind to co-create, as I said a moment ago, the life that we desire. We do that by fine-tuning our energy, our thoughts, our beliefs, our actions, our reactions to life itself. And because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law, that totality of how we show up in life is reflected back to us. As Dr. Ernest Holmes says, the law of life responds by corresponding, and it brings back to us experiences that are reflective of our state of being. And so we come together this morning to remember who we are, to pay attention to how we think, to let go of what was, and to move forward in a new way. We've gathered musicians this morning in this pre-recorded service from the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles musical family, as well as musicians from around the world that work in this realm of new thought and metaphysics, to present a program for us that will take us on a journey through music, through thought, through reflection, and through guidance by me to open our mind to think anew. So I thank you for being here today, and I want to begin our service by using that great song of Ricky Byers' Beckwith called I Release and I Let Go. We're going to welcome in Reverend Michael Gott to take us on this journey of song, I Release and I Let Go. Many of you know the lyrics to this song, so I invite you to sing along and let the words guide us to begin opening up to letting go to any attachments that we have, to what has transpired in life up until this moment, and prepare ourselves to bring in the new. Michael, take it away.
Saying it all night. Gotta let it go. Yes, I'm only here for
Thank you, Michael. What a beautiful rendition of that song. That song has been sung in so many of the Centers for Spiritual Living communities around the world, as well as the predecessors known as the Churches of Religious Science. That song holds a very special place in my heart because of the lyrics in general that tells us to release and let go and let the Spirit run our life. Spirit is a very important piece of who and what we are as beings that navigate this planet. Typically on a Sunday morning in our service, we do a ritual called Calling in the Light. We're not going to do that in its traditional format this morning, but I would like to share with us all the language that is used when we open with this ritual. And it's this. I invite us to perform this ceremony, the lighting of the candles, to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. That's the essence that Michael was singing in that most beautiful song. It goes on to say the purpose of this ritual is to draw into our gathering a more conscious awareness of our oneness and to remembrance that the light of the divine exists in and as all sentient beings. You are that sentient being, and so am I. We get to use this power, this sentient nature of feeling and knowing and expressing to help navigate our consciousness in life. And through the remembrance of the oneness of all life, we then tap into the light of the divine, as stated in this language. In the book, The Science of Mind, Dr. Ernest Holmes defines light as this. In flashes of illumination, the inspired have seen into the very center of reality and have brought back with them a distinct impression of what they've seen and felt. A glimpse of this reality illumines the whole being with a flood of light. This flood of light that we feel within us is a reminder that we are infinite by nature, which means that we're not bound by our past or what's to come in our future. But of course, we all know that we have a past. And this morning, I want us to begin to look at that past with a new lens, to hold it in reverence and in spiritual light. And so as we move into the next song, let's let it guide us to a new perspective on our past and to let us begin to honor the theme that we have for the month of January, which is restore, renew, and revival. You'll see that this song has a sense of being in a revival. It's by our one and only Yaron Spiewak with a group of beloved singers called 1,000 Years. And so I invite us all to enjoy it as Yaron takes us on this journey of a revival of honoring the past. Yaron, take it away.
Years of struggle, 1,000 years of pain, 1,000 years of rumble, 1,000 years of rain. I know I can't remember, nor can I refrain. 1,000 years of numbness, a lifetime lived in vain. Oh, 1,000 years of forest, 1,000 years of sleep, 1,000 years of mountains, I just can't get away from me. Salvation. a song. Oh, 1,000 years of building, yeah. A place I can't belong. No, it's not tomorrow, yeah. Said I know it's not today. But 1,000 years of sorrow going away. They're going away, they're going away. Liberation, no more condemnation. Say goodbye to my frustration. So I know it's not tomorrow. No, it's not today. But 1,000 years of sorrow are going away. Do you hear what I'm saying? Oh, 1,000 years of sorrow going away, going away, they're going away, they're going away. 1,000 years of sorrow going away. No, 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 no. I feel it going away. The sorrow's going away. Oh, 1,000 years of sorrow going away.
Thank you, Yaron, and Diedrich, who is in there. That song is so compelling and touching, and I'm sure that each and every one of us can relate to it, whether it's 1,000 years of suffering or at some point in our life being on a journey of suffering. As we open up to charting the course for ourselves for the next year ahead, we have the opportunity before us to let go, as we've already done with the song, I Release and I Let Go, but to let go and also consciously be more and more aware of who and what we are as divine beings and the power that we're imbued with to make a choice, and to remember that we are living in the light. Flannery Zizek tells us that living in the light is a practice of this, remembering, if you will, that in all of us there is a divine consciousness, a soul that shines brightly within. Within all of us is a divine light. No matter who you are, what you've done, or what you believe, we each have source, the creative energy of life, the divine within us. Our next song is a song that I listen to often in my life. It's by the one and only Eddie Watkins Jr., and the title is I Walk Away. Its essence is a guide from spirit, if you will, to tell us to walk away from that which doesn't serve us in life, our beliefs, our thoughts, our attachments to what was, and to be open to the new day, the light shining within us anew. Let's all make a covenant and a commitment starting today for the year ahead to be receptive to the light and to remember that as we walk away from what's not serving us, that there is a power, a light, a source within us that will guide us to the next dimension, if you will, of consciousness. One of learning to live empowered as we tap into these levels of personal self-empowerment through our spiritual awakening. I'm so excited to share this music with you in this video of the one and only Eddie Watkins Jr.
Every morning, the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day, I'm feeling so much lighter, and the world seems fresh and new. What I was taught and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Each day I start anew, and so I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Every morning brings a new beginning. By grace another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me shining, lighting the way for me to see. Oh, things that I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. Of yesterday I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion. Today is the day I walk away. Oh, I'm walking away from the less than that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to such sadness. Today is the day I walk away. Every day I walk away. Today is the day I walk away.
Thank you, Eddie, for such a lovely rendition of that song. The lyrics of that song that speaks to me, that I'm certain will speak to you as well, and is a great guide for us as we move into this new year, is that every morning the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth, and every day I'm feeling so much lighter and the world seems fresh and new. And what I was taught and the way I thought stopped serving me long ago. Now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us, each day I start anew. It's the starting anew that's important for us to remember that we have before us literally each day and metaphorically with each new thought. The reason it's important to tend to our thoughts, our thinking, is because as we change our thinking, we indeed change our life. It's our thinking that develops our belief system, our foundation of consciousness. One of the things that drew me into this philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, and I'm assuming for those that have been here for a while and for those that are new, it would open you up to hearing them, are called the Declaration of Principles as written by Dr. Ernest Holmes. These particular principles that are spoken of in the we believe or I believe statement are a guide for how we can begin to fine tune our thinking, to alter our beliefs, to ultimately alter our lives, that I think speak to where we're at in this journey this morning of beginning to look at how we want to create a mindset relative for the year 2023 are these. We believe, as students of the science of mind, in the individualization of the spirit in us. I've spoken of that spirit earlier. And that all people are individualizations of the one spirit. We believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever and ever expanding. We believe that heaven is within us and that we experience this heaven, a state of bliss, to the degree that we become conscious of it. What we're being called to do here is to become clearer and decisive on what we believe and what we would like to believe. This next song that we have is from our beloved Omer Shaish. It's a holiday song and it references Christmas in his recording. And so I invite you to listen to it and let it be a guide to begin to develop our dreams, our thinking, and ultimately our beliefs. Enjoy.
Children sleeping, snow is softly falling. Dreams are calling, like bells in the distance. We were dreamers not so long ago, but one by one we all had to grow up. When it seems the magic slipped away, we find it all again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Feel the melody that's playing. There's no time to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams wings to fly. You'll have everything you need if you just believe. Trains move quickly to their journey's end. Destination is where we begin again. Ships go sailing far across the sea, trusting starlight to get where they need to be. When it seems that we have lost our way, we find ourselves again on Christmas Day. Believe in what your heart is saying. Feel the melody that's playing. There's so much to waste. There's so much to celebrate. Believe in what you feel inside and give your dreams the wings to fly. You have everything you need if you just believe. If you just believe. If you just believe. You just believe. If you just believe. Just believe. If you just believe.
Thank you, Amir, for that beautiful rendition of the song Believe, that really tells us that it's important for us to use our mind in a way to dream, and that dreaming begins by using our imagination, and our imagination is a result of our using our mind effectively through thinking and being open to what's possible. The gateway for that is by becoming more and more in tune with the choices that we make in life. One of my favorite quotes of all time, and many of you guys know this already, is by the great teacher in the book The Seed of the Soul, Gary Zukav. Excuse me for reading this, but Gary writes, "Choice is the engine of our evolution. If you choose unconsciously, you will evolve unconsciously. If you choose consciously, you will evolve consciously. Choosing to evolve consciously is much better than unconsciously, and most often far less painful. Trust me, been there, done that," Gary says. But he goes on to write that the power of choice is the greatest gift we've been given, second only to the gift of life itself. And so as we begin to reframe our thinking and to use our imagination in a new way to chart the course for this new year and doing our part in co-creation, let's you and I make a commitment to wake up each day, as we learned in the song from Eddie Watkins Jr. earlier, to see the light anew, to make a choice to set our mind in motion of thinking in a more broad, higher-minded way. In other words, consciously leaning into our evolution, and choose that the day ahead before it happens is indeed a lovely day. The next song that we have to guide us into this awakening is Lovely Day by the one and only Todd Alsop. Todd, thank you so much for being here with us today, and take us away.
When I wake up in the morning and the sunlight hurts my eyes, loosen up the way. Well, then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Yes, it is. Just wanna get you, and I know it's gonna be a loving day, 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 loving day. So loving day, loving day, loving day, loving
Todd, you've awakened us all with that fantastic rendition of Lovely Day. You bring such joy to our hearts and certainly to our soul, and gives us the opportunity to connect to you soul to soul. And so as we continue on this journey of letting music guide us, and now being along the pathway of choosing to have a lovely day, we all know that the key to having a lovely day is staying present in the moment, to not get hung up on what was or what is to be. I love this quote by the Buddha, which tells us, "Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment." Personally, I've found the best way to do that is to consciously inhale, silently affirm the two most wonderful words, "I am," and then slowly exhale. Let's do that together. We inhale, "I am," and exhale. The next song selection I have for us is by my dear friend Etika Luckett, who's now moved on to the great beyond, and her partner Lisa Ferraro. It's a wonderfully calming song that is all about the breath. And so I invite you to listen to it with the context and the reminder to inhale, become present of the breath and conscious of it, and then exhale. Please enjoy this song that is just a guide for just that.
Let's meet at the place where you and I begin. We'll move through water and into stone, where stone melts to fire and fire turns to light, where my breath becomes your breath and your breath becomes mine. My breath becomes your breath and your breath becomes mine. I thought I dreamt this kiss, but when I awoke, there was dew upon my lips. was due upon my knee. We'll wind our hands back to where time holds still. No need to hurry or wait until where ends the beginnings, and now is always a time where my breath becomes your breath, your breath becomes mine, my breath becomes your breath, your breath becomes mine. I thought I dreamt this kiss, but when I awoke, there was dew upon my lips. There was dew upon my lips. I look in your eyes and feel the infinite divine, where my breath becomes your breath, your breath becomes mine, my breath becomes your breath, your breath becomes my breath, my breath becomes your breath, your breath becomes mine.
Such a stirring rendition of that song. I just love my soul sister, my beloved Erica Luckett, as she now is living on a different dimension and plane. I know she's continuing to be the grace of God, traveling along the journey of her life. And so let's send love and light to her on her journey and hold her beloved Lisa Ferraro in our heart as she's continuing to make good on this planet day by day by day through her being, through her light, and through her music. One of the most touching lyrics in that song for me is when my breath becomes your breath and your breath becomes mine. It's from Rumi, and it's speaking of the oneness of life, the interconnectedness of everything. The great Sankara writes, the essence of spirituality is to be constantly aware of the oneness of all, meaning it's all connected. At the same time, to celebrate the uniqueness of the individual. Being an individualized expression of the divine certainly has its wonderful moments of glory, and certainly oftentimes can present itself with fear. The next song that we have is one of my favorite songs ever, called Home. That's the title of the song, from the movie The Wiz. And the lyrics that are so touching to me are, when I think of home, I think of a resting place, a place where there's peace, quiet, and serenity. And that's where some of my friends have gone, friends who've traveled with me through the wonderful experience of Oz, a journey I'll never forget. When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. And as in The Wiz, as well as in The Wizard of Oz, in this moment, Dorothy was lost. And she says, I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things I've been knowing. Wind that makes the tall grass bend into leaning. Suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning. Sprinkling the scene makes it all clean. Obviously, this is a metaphor for those moments in life when we get lost or we feel like we don't know who we are, individually as well as a spiritual being. That's part of the journey of finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. It'll happen for each and every one of us as we continue through the calendar year of 2023. But let's all remember that there is that place within us of peace and quiet and serenity. It's the place of love, the self-forgivingness of spirit. Let's let it give of itself, to itself, through itself, as Charles Holt in this next song, and let it become a cellular guide for us as we move about the next step of the journey of today and the rest of our life.
When I think of home, I think of a place where there's love overflowing. I wish I was home. I wish I was back there with the things that I've been knowing. Wind that makes a tall grass bend into leaning, and suddenly the raindrops that fall have a meaning, sprinkling the scene. It makes it all clean. Maybe there's a chance for me to go back now that I have some direction. Oh, sure would be nice to be back home where there's love and affection. And maybe I can convince time to slow up, giving me enough time in my life to grow up. Time be my friend. Let me start again. Hey, suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, yet I still know where I'm going. I've had my mind run around in space, yet I've watched it growing. And if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard for us to know if we should believe the things we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it be better just to let things be? Yeah. Living in this brand new world, it may be a fantasy. Yeah.
Charles Holt. What a gift. What a gift. Sharing his gift of music with us, which is a reminder for each of us that we have a gift to share. This is the year for us to share it in a new way, and that gift is one of authenticity, of living out our own individuality. The way to do that is to not struggle, not strive in life, but to be open to surrendering to the power of the divine within us and letting it make itself known to us and through us. That's really what we're called here to do, is to open up to not live in a state of victimhood, to give ourselves direction, to surrendering to the power of the divine where peace exists within us already. As you all know, I love that acronym that I created for peace. Purposeful energy activates conscious evolution. Conscious evolution is engaging in life itself in a state of joy and exaltation and a gloria in excelsis Deo, and being engaged in the journey of awakening our mind, of thinking about what we want, about living life from a perspective that warms the heart. This next musical artist certainly warms my heart, and I know she does for so many of us here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. The song that she's going to share for us next is called I Am Here. I Am. It's a wonderful rendition of this song, and it's from a performance that she did at the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle a couple of years ago. Let's let Amy Steinberg take us on a journey of awakening our soul and remembering that our goal here is to take a deep breath and to, once again, not fight, not struggle, but to allow the presence of the presence to make itself known. Take it away, the one and only Amy Steinberg.
As synchronicity is, this song is about surrender, deep surrender to this moment.
I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am a blessing manifest, and I can undress the moment. Naked time unwinds beneath my mind. From within I find the kind of beauty only I can find. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am surrendering so willingly to be the perfect me inside this now and truly. How else could it be? Destiny, she blesses me. Destiny, she blesses me. And when I try to fight or run, I only wind up back at square one. And when I think I know what's best for me, well, fate, she takes me back to exactly where I need to be. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Divinely timed and shining brightly, yes. I believe that there's a purpose just for me. Yes, I believe that we are light and we shine infinitely. Oh, I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. I am not aimlessly existing. See, I am in perfect harmony with universal energy, and I am truly free when I accept my own divinity. Can I ask you to raise your right hand right now? Say, I accept my divinity. Let's say it right now like we mean it. I accept my divinity. Right? So now you know that you are, ye are gods. Look at me closely. Tell me exactly what you see. If you are paying attention, you will now begin ascension of the mind. Why? Well, because if you look at me just right, you see a kiss. It took a kiss to make this breath exist. The intersection of my mother's and father's lips to touch, twist. Perfect what came next to produce me. Yes, look at me and you will see the breeze it took to shake the leaves to make my mother's hair move. My father dare touch it and say, please, may I have a kiss? Yes, the breeze made me exist. And if you want to get even deeper into this right now, when you look at me, you will see a big old cloud. The cloud it took to form the storm, to make the breeze, to shake the leaves, to inspire the lip lock. It's a raindrop will pop up out of these words. You heard me right. Look at me close enough, you see a dark, stormy night. And what is night? Well, night ain't night without its polar opposite of sunlight. So if you watch the way my hands sway, you see the light of day. And every day is a testament to the sediment of the earth's core, ever spinning enormous force. When you look at me just right, you see a spark of the source. But the most fascinating thing about this, and this is what's true, you look at me just right, you see you. It's only what you perceive, how you believe, the space between you and me that creates reality. Dude! So when I sing, you can feel it. When I cry, you can heal it. When I speak words, you can be the words I speak by singing with me. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Let's send it out to the world. Come on. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace. One more time, come on. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Peace, love, free. Going on now, let's take it there. And when I try to fight or run, I only wind up back at. Yes, you're listening. And when I think I know what's best for me, well, fate, she takes me back to exactly where I need to be. And when I am all alone and full of fear, I just remember the rising sun always appears. And every day miracles that I see. Well, you take me back, come on. Yes, you take me back, you take me back to exactly where I need to. Happy New Year, everyone. This right here is a mantra. I like to call it a womantra. So I want you to learn it. Take it with you all year long. Whatever you're doing, the good, the bad, the ugly, use it. It is a wonderful tool. Goes like this. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. So easy. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Just like that. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Falling in love. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Grieving a parent. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Finding a new job. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I'm. Losing a job. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I'm. Letting go of the past. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Welcoming the brand new. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am. Let's do it just voices as a prayer. I am exactly where I need to be. I need to be exactly where I am.
Thank you, Amy. Your creativity is just boundless, and I love that. And one of the things that's so fabulous in what you do is that you allow spirit to do its thing through you, to be transformative. That spirit, that nature is within each and every one of us, really waiting for us to allow it to do its thing through us, to remember that there's the power of life, the creative nature of it all, the source of it. Then there's the law of life that responds by corresponding in this creative process. And then there's the experience, the human, the man, the tangible thing. It's important for us to remember that we play a vital role in this creative process of life, of transforming whatever's going on in life into gold, if you will, to the ultimate. Really, it's about being a conscientious alchemist. Alchemy, using it as a metaphor for this creative process, is a science of the soul that results from an understanding of God, the power, nature, the creative process, and man, that experience. Franz Hartmann tells us that a perfect knowledge of any one of them cannot be obtained without the knowledge of the other two, for these three are one and inseparable. Intellectual but a spiritual science, because that which belongs to the spirit can only be spiritually known. Nevertheless, it's also a science dealing with material things. For spirit and matter are only two opposite manifestations or poles of the eternal one. What we're being told here is no matter what's going on in the creative process of life or the experience of life, that our role here is to stay focused on the attentiveness that we have towards the Spirit, towards the light, to trust that no matter what's going on, that the sun's going to rise each day and set as well. The next song that we have for us is by the great Todd Alsop again, who's coming back with us to sing a Beatles song called Here Comes the Sun. And so let's let him sing that for us in the most joyful manner to guide us into a remembrance of the heat of the sun that brings us such warmth in life. But that's also the same heat that we get to put on the transformation that's taking place in life at all times of light and life itself manifesting through us. Todd?
Happy New Year, CSL family. Thank you so much for including me in your family this year. I know 2022 was a year of peaks and valleys for me. There was growth, there were challenges, there were definitely highlights. I'm going into 2023 knowing that the sun's going to shine. And on that note, we'll sing this. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to their faces. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Sun, 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 here it comes. Little darling, I feel that ice is slowly melting. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been clear. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Here comes the sun, here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. It's alright.
Thank you, Todd. What a wonderful rendition of Here Comes the Sun. I know that song probably means so much to each one of us in our own unique way. I take away from it the reminder that we always have before us the opportunity for a fresh start, and to start each day with a new mindset, if you will, to lean into practicing a remembrance of the source of life itself, to be in spiritual practice, if you will. I'm a product of 20th century metaphysics, a 20th century science of mind student, where we were taught that our role in this co-creative process was to stop, get clear, and declare out loud, quite broadly and loudly, exactly the mindset that we wanted to develop and then manifest in life. As I've evolved in life, and many of us have evolved as well, what we've learned is that it's oftentimes in the solace of quietness, of silence, where we tune into that higher vibrational frequency of life itself. It's a deep awareness of I am that I am. The great Thich Nhat Hanh, the Buddhist monk who transformed many lives on this planet, who passed away this past year, who brought light to so many, told us that when you touch one thing with deep awareness, you touch everything. The next song that I've chosen for us is a song that's probably very familiar to many of our CSL-LA community. It was shared on Sunday mornings often by Bunny Hall and the musicians at CSL-LA prior to my arrival. It's called In the Silence. The rendition that we're going to hear now is by the composer and creator of that song, Jack Fowler. I invite you to listen to it, letting it take us on a journey of listening, of connecting, as well as to let it be a guide for a reconnection to the journey that each of us have been on from the times that we listened to it by our beloved Bunny Hall, in whatever location that it was sung for, the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. And then let's remember that it's in the silence that we find peace, for it's always, always, always within us. I give you Jack Fowler, In the Silence.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find God, I find
And so, on this journey that we've shared this morning of preparation for 2023 and making it a year that is reflective of our own personal spiritual growth and the intentions that we each have for manifesting and living the life that we desire, I affirm for each one of us that we are coming alive in a new way, that we are allowing the roots of our spiritual awakenings to take heed and take root, really take form, and that our life indeed changes. Thank you for being a part of this service today. And before we conclude it, I'd just like to remind you that you can check out our website, csl-la.org, to find out what you would like to know about our community, as well as you can connect with our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, as well as in either or both of those places you can find a way to donate to support this community as it continues to thrive in the world and make a difference. 2023 for us, I'm sure, will have some changes in store for us, but as a spiritual community, we are remembering that we're all about each other. We're about trusting the universe. We're about leaning into source, and we're about living life. You know, Auntie Mame tells us to live, 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 that life is a banquet, while most poor suckers are starving to death. And our role is to take care of those that may be starving to death while also living out loud and fully. I'd like to close this portion of our service with a quote by Rabbi Zalman Schachter Shalom. And the rabbi tells us that spiritual growth takes time for its roots to grow, and that requires us to be receptive and patient. While we're being receptive and patient, and I encourage and invite each of us to do so, that we do that with a great sense of gratitude for each musician that's been present for us today, as well as to be receptive and patient in regards to the manifestations of the things that we intend and desire to have in our life, and also to make a commitment to come alive in a new way today and each and every day for 2023. James Harper's going to take us out with this great rendition of the song Come Alive from the movie The Greatest Showman on Earth, and after that I'll come back to say goodbye. James, take it away.
You stumble through your days, got your head hung low, your sky's a shade of gray, like a zombie in a maze. You're asleep inside, but you can shake awake, cause you're just a dead man walking, thinking that's the only option. But you can flip the switch and brighten up your darkest day. Sun is up and the colors blinding, take the world and redefine it. Leave behind your narrow mind, you'll never be the same. Come alive, come alive. Go and ride your light, let it burn so bright. Reach it up to the sky, and it's open wide. You're electrified, and the world becomes a fantasy. You're more than you could ever be, cause you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. So dreaming with your eyes wide open. So come alive. I see it in your eyes. You believe that lie and need to hide your face, afraid to step outside. So you lock the door, but don't you stay that way. No more living in the shadows. You and me, we know how that goes. Cause once you see it, oh, you'll never, never be the same. It will be the light that's shining. Bottle up and keep on trying. You can prove there's more to you. You cannot be afraid. Come alive, come alive. Go and ride your light. Let it burn so bright. Reach it up to the sky, and it's open wide. You're electrified, and the world becomes a fantasy. You're more than you could ever be. So you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And we know you can't go back again to the world that we were living in. So we're dreaming with our eyes wide open. So come alive. Come on, come in, come on. To anyone who's bursting with a dream, come on, you hear the call. To anyone who's searching for a way to break free. And the world becomes a fantasy, more than you could ever be. Dreaming with your eyes wide open. And you know you can't go back again to the world that you were living in. You're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And the world becomes a fantasy. You're more than you could ever be. So you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And we know we can't go back again to the world that we were living in. So we're dreaming with our eyes wide open. So we're dreaming with our eyes wide open. So come alive.
Thank you, James Harper, for wowing us and getting us ready to come alive and engage in the new year in a new way. I want to thank you all for being here today, and know that this time that we've shared together, albeit virtually, has been one where we've created a safe space in mind for you and I to embrace the good of the divine that is already present and awaiting our calling forth of it. A big thank you to our musicians once again for participating in this service today. And I know that we have this now as a resource for each of us to go to and listen to whenever we need to as we continue on this journey of finding our own personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening day by day thought by thought, belief by belief, and action, reaction, and interaction with the thing itself every time we think, act, react, interact with life itself. Next week, we'll continue on this journey of not only our awakening to our spiritual nature, but looking at the 4 chapters of the book, The Science of Mind, as we often do every year, and reframing for ourselves a new understanding of the tenets of this philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the Science of Mind. I want you to know that I celebrate you just as you are, every moment of every day, and honor you for where you're at on your journey. I invite you to invite people to come be a part of our community as we are focused on thriving and with the intention of growing and changing and evolving to the best of our ability. I'd like to close with a quote by Ernest Holmes, the creator of the Science of Mind, that I think is poignant and appropriate and touching for where we are at this benchmark in life. And he writes, "Here and now, we are surrounded by and immersed in an infinite good. How much of this infinite good is ours? All of it. And how much of it may we have to use? As much as we can embody." Let's you and I choose to embody more and more and more of it each day, and then to give it and share it back to the universe, knowing that as we do so, it propagates out of itself more and more and more. Remember, you are the blessing, and blessings are meant to be shared. Thank you for sharing your blessing with me. It's my honor to share mine with you. Happy, happy, happy New Year. Thank you. Peace and blessings.